You are still watching Prime Morning. It's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have. You at home, we want you to join us. The big day is almost here. In the next 24 hours, NPP will go to the polls to elect their next flag bearer. Now, this person will lead the NPP in 2024's race against the other political parties. Who will this person be? We are yet to know. But we know there are 4 main contenders in there. And these persons are Dr. Bawumia, who is the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. We also have Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. We have Dr. Afriyie Akoto, and we have Honorable Francis Addai Nimoh. Now, these persons competed with 6 others, and they emerged as the top 5. They were top 5. However, we saw one person who decided to drop out and become an independent candidate. That is Alan Chemating. So for now, we have top 4 vying to become the flag bearer of the NPP. I'm not doing this alone. KMJ is here as well. Okay.
Yes. We're ready for the showdown tomorrow. And like I keep saying, you need to tune into our channels here on the multimedia platforms. And trust me, the kind of report that you have is the best you can ever have anywhere in the world. All right. So we'll be bringing you more updates on that. You need to make sure you stay tuned.
Yes. And we have our very own Kofi Agyapong, who is here with us. Kofi Agyapong is one of the best when we talk about projections right here in Ghana. He's not even one of he is the best. Anytime we sit with this gentleman, I get to know that I know nothing because he knows everything. Kofi Agyapong, good morning.
Good morning, Rosalie.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for being here.
It's data. He eats data, sleeps data, swims data, does everything data.
Yeah.
Man!
That's Kofi Agyapong, data analyst.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do it. You are able to even project for NSMQ. That's how serious it is. Like,
oh, that was sweet, anyway.
Like, who does that? Can you project what I'll eat this afternoon?
The projecting is projecting.
Anyway, for you at home, we want to know who you think will become the next flag bearer for the NPP. And if you do have your take on who will be, we are hearing that Dr. Bawumia might lead with an 80% lead. Do you agree with this? Or if not, what's your projection for tomorrow's elections for the NPP? But Kofi has a lot. Let's quickly delve into what the newspapers are saying, and then we can come to Kofi and ask some questions. Okay, what do we have?
Ghanaian Times is here, and most authoritative newspaper says that who wins showdown tomorrow as NPP elects flag bearer for 2024 general election. And it's got over there, like you rightly mentioned, on the other newspapers reporting on that. Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, Dr. Bawumia, we have Dr. Afriyie Akoto, and Francis Addai Nimoh also there. So that's the biggest on the front page of the Ghanaian Times this morning.
The final newspaper actually has a broad smile because Honorable Kennedy Agyapong is smiling so much. His smile is different from everybody else's smile. Aspirants signed deal to accept results of tomorrow's elections as in-team calls for prioritizing parties' interests. Now, this smile is what caught my attention. I don't know if anybody... Have you seen the smile? Check the smile out. It's different from everybody else's. And the deal was to make sure that you accept the results. So would there be an acceptance?
Smile for the results.
Smile for the results. Anyway.
So now we've got evidence, right?
Yes. So he has smiled.
Okay.
Yeah.
The moment you try anything, we'll go and bring the newspapers. And this picture, for example, how you're smiling.
Anyway, that will be all for the Finder newspaper.
The New Weekend Crusading Guide says, Inshallah, I will be victorious tomorrow. Dr. Bawumia, Inshallah. And all contenders commit to respect outcome. 4th November presidential primaries. That's also captured on the front page. And from GJ, it says, demonstrate sincere, determined efforts to end state of impunity. So, yes, at the end of the day, Inshallah. And when it happens, you say, Mashallah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Inshallah means it will happen.
And then mashallah means it has happened.
You say mashallah, yeah.
It has happened.
It happened.
Okay, that says KMJ. Okay, so again, the Daily Statesman newspaper is reporting the same thing because the NPP tomorrow is one of their biggest days. And the question here is who emerges NPP flag bearer tomorrow? We're asking you this question as well because these 4 persons are highly, how do I put it? But they are very popular in this party. They've all served well. They've all, contributed their quota to the growth of this party. So who will become the flag bearer of the NPP? Will it be Honorable Kennedy Agyapong? Will it be Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? Will it be Dr. Afriyie Akoto? Or it will be Francis Addai Nimoh? We are yet to know. But Kofi is here. Kofi, now yesterday, what we saw was the results coming in from the diaspora. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has a massive lead over almost all of them. Especially, let's look at what came in from the United States of America, where almost everybody pulled a zero.
Very interesting results. So we had about 411 delegates in the U.S. who were eligible to vote yesterday. We saw only 270 of them vote. And out of that, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was in the lead with 77.04%. Followed by, Kennedy Agyapong with 60 votes and 22.22%. And Addai Nimoh and, Dr. Afriyie Akoto, who have refused to be tagged as the, of the race, they all had one. Well, I didn't want to use the word, but
that's the thing.
They are top dogs in their mind.
Yes.
So they've refused to be tagged as the underdogs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they all had one representing 0.37% respectively. So this gives us
family members there?
In the US.
Yes.
Oh, you can have family members, but the
if they are not delegates. That's true.
So yeah. So that's the first impression we've actually received. How tomorrow may pan out. This is not very, exhaustive. We still have more than over 200,000 people that will be expecting to vote. I've seen the delegate list, and that's quite a huge number. Because if you look at NPP's delegate list, that's the national delegate list, and you've seen how it has grown over the period to move from below 10,000 to now somewhere around over 200,000 is very huge. And that is why they are deciding to have the election in all 275, constituencies, and then also adding the headquarters for people to go and vote. It will be interesting tomorrow. But already we have a sense of how probably it will turn out depending on who takes the lead, because we have two very conflicting polls out right now. First one was from Global Info Analytics. I'll talk about that. The second one, I'll start from there, which is the one from the UK. And it was done in conjunction with another, firm. And they put Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia first with more than 80% and put Kennedy Agyapong less than 12 or 11%. So they are just saying that it's going to be a landslide victory for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia come tomorrow. But another interesting poll that I feel has some sort of different dynamics is the Global Info Analytics, where even before the results, you have close to 32% of the respondents who were actually contacted to participate in the poll decided not to disclose their votes or saying, I am undecided. Undecided is around 18.3%. That's very huge. But with the one that was done in the UK, the undecided population or sample size was just around 7 or 7.3%. So that's very small if you compare it to the Global Info Analytics one. So Global Info Analytics puts Bawumia ahead, but not in a comfortable lead. 43.5%, followed by Kennedy Agyapong, 23.5%, Francis Addai Nimoh, 0.4%, and Dr. Afriyie Akoto, 0.3%. So just look at what we saw in the USA and see what Afriyie Akoto and
it's quite surprising. That's what I was going to say, because it's quite surprising to see these two gentlemen. Although yes, projections shows that the two might not be able to pull too much figures. You are expecting Dr. Afriyie Akoto to pull probably the 0.4, where Francis Addai Nimoh to pull the 0.3. But you are seeing it not so today.
Yeah, probably it could be because we have about 32% of the sample undecided, so you never know who they belong to. But we know how it has panned out in the US, and I must say that if we are going to consider this, then probably there could be a runoff. There could be a runoff on two occasions. One, we saw that the last time that a second force had more than 30%, the elections, the delegate elections was sent to a roundup. That was between President Akufo-Addo and Alan Tremantin. He decided to let him go and then have his way. But tomorrow, if we see Kennedy Agyapong, pulling more than 35% of the votes, trust me, and Addai Nimoh and Afriyie Akoto also having more than 5%, then it becomes very, very tricky for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to have that projected landslide victory, because I don't see Kennedy Agyapong being that small force that you can just walk over. We are going to deal with over 200,000 delegates, who most of them are the grassroots members. Yesterday, Dr. Bawumia spoke. He said, I am not the establishment candidate, I am the grassroots candidate. So he's trying to associate himself with the grassroots and then also demystify the fact that people have said he is the establishment candidate and that almost everybody in the party is behind him. Yesterday, we all saw the candidate plus the Council of Elders beautiful. They were exchanging pleasantries and it was nice. And I hope that tomorrow we don't see any viral videos of people threatening to do anything. Okay, all right. But I can talk about the numbers and what they say. In fact, so Global Info Analytics, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is in the lead, but not in the comfortable lead. And if you consider a 32%, where would they be? I think those are the people we should be using the tag fear delegates, because they have decided not to.
And these are the dangerous people.
Exactly. For you to call somebody on phone and ask who will you vote for, and the person, freely telling you that I vote A or B, that tells you that the person has established where he or she will vote. But if I tell you I have not decided, I cannot disclose, then there's something fishy around that 32% who decided not to give any answer in the poll. And I feel that they are the ones going to determine who will have that 50% plus one. Mind you, the NPP primaries is just like the national elections, where you have to get that 50% plus one. And you can see the distribution of those who say they've not disclosed their where they will vote. And just look at where majority of them are. The Greater Accra region has the highest undecided delegates who have decided not to talk about their vote. That's 35%. Followed by the Ashanti region, 21%. And you can see the distribution across all the regions. And these two regions account for more than 20% or 30% of those who will be voting tomorrow.
I'm looking at the Ashanti region, and the Ashanti region is, NPP strongest hold.
Absolutely.
Looking at the Ashanti region, will you say that the undecided is coming up because their strongest candidate, who happens to be Honorable Alan Tremantin, decided to drop off the race? So now 21% are undecided whether they should give their vote to Dr. Bawumia or they should give it to
So we did some computation, looked at the figures, and we're trying to see Alan Tremantin and his faithful followers. So we tracked the data right from 2007 to 2014. That was the last time he actually contested in the main primaries. And we strike the average and we realize that he has a faithful followers of more than 9,000.
Wow.
9,000, I think 123.
From the Ashanti?
Not from the Ashanti region. That's his across board. That's the kind of delegates he polls. If you look at his performance between 2007 and 2014. Now, these people have been left. He's gone. He's in a new movement. Most of them are still delegates. They still have cards to vote tomorrow. So the question is, this over 9,000 people who hook or crook will follow Alan Tremantin, where would they be? Are they going to the camp of Dr. Bawumia, or Kennedy Agyapong, or the Dark Horse, or Addai Nimoh? So
I could give a wild guess on that. It might not be accurate or factual, but I'm thinking. So if someone complains about a certain candidate's, support from the party, and some other things that were done to him in the course of the voting processes, and feels very aggrieved of all those things and decide that I'm going to go away from this party and form my own movement, isn't it the likelihood that these people who are undecided that you're mentioning, these numbers that is following, that do not know where to go in terms of Kennedy or Bawumia, will now look at the situation and say, well, let's mess this up. Kennedy, we are for you. Because we feel a certain anger from the other part because we felt that certain people were protected in the way.
Exactly.
Certain things were done that we felt that it's the reason our candidate decided to pull out.
Absolutely. So if
that's a good chance.
Yes. So I spoke to Musa Dankwa, who is the executive director of Global Info Analytics. We've been having conversations, and he is of the view that per the analysis and the background data they've collected, it could be that the 32% who are undecided or have decided not to disclose their vote, most of them probably may decide to go to Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, because there's a school of thought that says that, people feel Dr. Bawumia is the establishment candidate. If he is the establishment candidate, almost he's the vice president. It's not so difficult disclosing your vote for an establishment candidate, right? The only instance probably when you feel unsafe to disclose your vote is for probably a second or third force who you are not so sure could come to pass, so you don't want to disclose so that anybody will say that you were not part of the winning team, so now that you've lost, go. So you look at all those dynamics and you ask yourself, if we have majority of this 32% who are undecided deciding to go, and majority of them deciding to go to the camp of Kennedy Agyapong, then tomorrow is going to be an interesting day.
Very
so it's not that over yet.
Yes,
no, it's not that.
If you look at it from
because this is not the first time that an MPP. I've not seen anywhere in the NDC presidential primaries that we've seen a runoff. NPP presidential primaries are always very competitive. Always very competitive.
Always.
And 2007 will show you. 2014 will also tell you when the party decided that now let's move from one delegate conference to now two, super and then the main one. And we've seen that those who win the super delegate go ahead to win the main delegates conference. But if you compare the performance of President Akufo-Addo in the super delegates to that of Dr. Bawumia, there's a huge difference. President Akufo-Addo had more than 80%. Dr. Bawumia had a little below 69%. The difference is huge. Yeah. So you ask yourself, even the elite part of the party or the top people, he could not probably get 80%. Those people who can easily decide to disclose their vote because some said some of them were protecting their jobs and all of those things. He got 70, he got less than 70. And Kennedy Agyapong, that we were all thinking could place third,
rather came up second. Let's look at the swing regions. These are the Greater Accra region, Central region, and the Western region. And it's quite surprising that in these swing regions, again, you don't have Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia getting even a 40% here with the projections here. He has a 32.3%, where you have Kennedy Agyapong pulling at 27.3%. And then again, what is shocking is, again, you see Addai Nimoh coming up higher than Dr. Afriyie Akoto.
Addai Nimoh has been there before. He was there 2014. 2014 when they first introduced the super delegates. He was among the candidates who were able to pass and become the top 5. Among the top 5, all the others dropped for President Akufo-Addo and Alan Tremantin to. Addai Nimoh was the only person who joined the queue to say, let's go to the mains.
No, but see, when we look at
so he's been there before, and that could be a factor.
But when we look at the super delegates conference, you know, looking at the figures that he pulled as compared to Dr. Afriyie Akoto, one would say that Dr. Afriyie Akoto, the projection should have Dr. Afriyie Akoto coming up more than his own, that is Addai Nimoh's
so the description is clear. Super delegates. These are top people who are probably have government appointments and all of those things. And mind you, Addai Nimoh, I don't know if he has any position or any government he's been appointed anywhere.
He's a party survivor.
Survivor.
But
he's
you
been
know,
there. He's been there. He's said it all.
Afriyie Akoto is or was the former agriculture minister.
Yeah.
So there's some sort of connection there when you want to put it in that angle. But there are a lot of factors that you have to consider today, tomorrow, what has happened and all of those things. But there was a region that, in fact, Kennedy Agyapong actually beat, you know, Bawumia. Yeah, that was in the Ashanti region.
And that's
in terms of the poll.
In terms of the polls, yeah, that's true.
So he gets 39%. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia get 33%. Again,
it's quite marginal.
Exactly. And if you go to the central region where Kennedy Agyapong hails from, he gets 59, almost 60%. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia gets 22. And Kennedy Agyapong has been in the central region almost all his life. He's been contesting in Asen. When we had just Asen North and Asen South, he was there. Then they divided central, north, and west. He's been there. So you look at the figures and you consider his performance in probably the Akan regions. It gives a certain picture in terms of this poll. Okay, and there's another interesting trend analysis that we probably have to look at in terms of who is gaining and who is actually falling. Because this is a longitudinal poll. It means that we cannot exactly have it. So you can have a trend. So they started June 2023 and the current one being October 2023. So June, when they started, this was the acceptance rate or the popularity rate between Vice President Bawumia and Kennedy Agyapong. Bawumia was around 34.8%. Kennedy was 12.5%. Fast forward September 5th. Bawumia moves from 34 now to 48.
Yeah.
Then Kennedy moves from 12 to 21. Then Bawumia declines from September 5th to September 10th. Within a span of 5 days, he declined from that 48% popularity rate now to 44.9. Kennedy Agyapong also drops 41 to, somewhere around 48. This was a time where
Kennedy dropped from 21 to
18.4.
Yes. And then you had Dr. Mahmoud drop again.
Exactly.
To 43.5. And then you had Kennedy go up
significantly.
23.5.
Yeah. So you can see the gap actually closing.
As of October. This October, yeah.
This October, October 11th. So just like 3 or 2 weeks ago, October 11th. That was when this fresh data
what is contributing to this?
So if you look at September to October, I think it was around September that we had Alan Tremantin decided not to go. Okay. Exactly. Right from there, you see almost all of them dropping because some of the delegates became, they could not, decide where they will go. Then after a while, when the dust had settled, they knew that he was going to go independent. They did another poll. And now some of the delegates decided to
align with A or B.
And we've seen what happened. Mahmoud Bawumia drops, Kennedy goes up. But again, we still have that more than 30% still saying they have decided not to disclose their vote or they are undecided who they will vote for. For me, I am very, very particular about that, percentage.
Yeah.
32% is very, very significant because usually non-response and I have not decided usually are not really that high. We've seen the UK poll, just 7%. But with the Global Info Analytics one, 32%.
It's too high.
It's very, very high and it's so dangerous for almost all the candidates, especially the two front runners.
Right. Okay.
For me, I still believe that it's going to be an interesting, post tomorrow. Albeit with, seeing people projecting from different angles, depending on where you are and who you think that would eventually become the top winner. But with the details that we're seeing right now, it means that even from now till the morning of tomorrow, people have a lot of work to do. You might not necessarily want to do it in the public or whatever it is, but a lot of calls would have to be going on by now. You know, and securing even the kind of percentage you want right now, because you may lose, but the margin will decide whether even in the future you have to continue this ambition or not.
In fact, delegates are, delegates are becoming very nuanced.
This is why you say fear delegates.
Yes.
I'm looking at the Akan regions, and when you put all together, you still have Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia leading with the Akan regions, and then Honorable Kennedy Agyapong coming in second, where you have the undecided and undisclosed still very high, quite worrying. Their numbers are even way more than Addai, Nimoh, and Afriyie Akoto. So you'd be surprised. But again, we are hoping that they still go out there to vote. But then we go to the north, the northern region. And when you look at the numbers coming in from the northern side, you have Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia pulling at 74.8%, and you have Kennedy Agyapong pulling at 10.6%. This margin is so high that if you compare it to the Akan regions, it means that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia might have, probably a comfortable lead.
So sometimes percentages can be very deceptive. Yes, when you just look at the percentage and you don't look at the nominal figures, because if you split the delegates into the northern or the Akan and northern, population, you realize that the Akan population is so huge. So for you to get 31% of the Akan population is very significant. Exactly, because if you compare the number of delegates we have in the Akan regions compared to what we have in the northern region, there's a stark difference. So you may lead in the northern region, but the question is with how many votes? You get it. That's how sometimes percentages can be deceptive when you are doing comparative analysis. So you always have to now consider the delegate population, and we ask ourselves, 10% of what are we even talking about? Or 90%. So because if I get 90% of 200, you can't compare that to 90% of 1,000.
That's true.
Yeah. So that is the difference and the kind of the additional information that we have to put out, that if you compare the number of delegates in the Akan regions to the ones in the northern region, there's a stark difference. And trust me, NPP wins elections probably with just 5 regions, and you can see when you look at the heat map, NPP, NDC doing better
in the smaller regions.
You can see that they win more regions, but they are not able to actually come to power, because population is very important. Population density. Where are we talking about? Which part are you getting more of your percentages from? When you consider all of those things, then you can clearly know your path and where you will be. Because leading the northern region, very significant, very important. But you ask yourself, how many delegates are we talking about? That's an important question to ask.
So I'm looking at the campaigns and what Kennedy was able to do for himself in terms of the northern belt. I think he was there for a couple of weeks or so. It's something that he personally decided that he wanted to do, and so he was there for a while. If you look at the numbers that we're seeing over here, is it a situation for us to say he probably even did well? Looking at the fact that he was contending with somebody who is their native, somebody who they know, and somebody who is in power at the same time.
In fact, it is, we may have that perception that in the northern region, we should have more people voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So if you still have a percentage of that population saying, I will not disclose, or I have not decided, it becomes very tricky where they will be. So I will agree with KMJ when he says probably Kennedy Agyapong has done well in the northern region, because this is a place that we expect
100% win.
Exactly. That's
in the super delegate.
No matter what he goes there to say, this is our person in power.
True.
Exactly.
Whatever reason
So
it is.
100% win.
Exactly. In the northeast region, in the super delegate, I think Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia pulled 100%.
Yeah, he did. He pulled 100%.
So you put some of these factors together, and you look at Kennedy Agyapong's performance in the northern region in terms of the polls, and you say, oh, probably he's done well. Like having the NDC obtain 25% in the Ashanti region is a big deal.
Yeah.
Having the NPP obtain, let's say, 13 or 15% or 7 is huge.
Yeah.
You just don't look at how small the percentage will be, but how significant it is closing that gap.
Yeah.
Knowing that where we are talking about is a stronghold of your opponent. So it's interesting. Okay.
We need you to join us. So send in your messages to us. We want to hear from you. Who do you think will become the next flag bearer of the NPP? And do you think that we could go for a runoff? Well, let's see. But some messages have come in. Good morning, Kennedy Agyapong will give Bawumia a showdown. Police station executives are educated and smart. We'll give them showdown. Bawumia is not fit to be president, especially with his lies. Francis from Takwa. Dondo Sambori says, good morning, madam. I'm monitoring you from Wa. Thank you so much for watching, Dondo. Hi, good morning. I'm watching your program coming this Saturday. We, the delegates, are going to vote massively for Honorable Ken, the PhD man, Ken Ghana first. I'm Oheneba Finn from Asin Central. Is Dr. Bawumia better than President Akufo-Addo? Anna, why NPP shouting Bawumia as if he's bringing something new? He forgot to give it to his boss. NPP government party, never again lie from Ablade. Okay, Ablade. Ifie Kuma Zongo Takrade. Gladys Doe says, good morning, Gladys. And you can join us as well for us to have this conversation. So send in your messages to us. Unfortunately, today we are not doing Zoom, but we are still taking the messages. So for those of you who join us every Friday for Zoom, do send in your messages to us. Okay?
Absolutely. And we're still reminding you that you join us tomorrow, live from the grounds, from all the channels, you know, that you've been listening to, watching each and every day. And I'm talking about multimedia platforms. We're going to be bringing you incredible reports of what is going to be happening tomorrow at the NPP, flag bearership race. And so please, from Joy FM to Joy Prime to Hits FM to Asempa to Madum FM to Joy News to all the channels, my Joy Online will be providing you, some, analysis of what is going on as well. So please do well and stay with us throughout the period of tomorrow. We're going to probably go into the next day. You know how we do it, until the last person says, I have voted. The last counting is done, and until they come and say, so and so person as the elected person to be leading the party, we are not sleeping. And so please do well to join us on that. I mean, Kofi will be there to be providing us some data as well, so you can't miss this. You can't. And I keep saying, don't go and listen and watch anywhere that they'll be bringing you footages and commentaries that are not reflecting what is happening on the grounds. You get yourself agitated for nothing. Your BP level is important to us. All right, so do well and stay with us. Well, like I said, big thank you to Nutri Snacks this morning for helping us have this conversations here on the show. Big Chef is also happening. If you're in the ages between 8 and 14, this is the time for you to also join in. If you've got some skills in cooking, it is time for you to be a part of the next edition of Big Chef. All right, so send in the entries on our WhatsApp line. We're going to screen them, and then we'll get to call you to be a part of the showdown. Yeah. Love showdown. 2023 will go into the books of history as the biggest showdown.
Yeah, the year of showdown.
The year of showdown.
The year of showdown. So,
okay. Be a part of that.
Kofi, what will happen if there's a runoff?
Well, if there's a runoff. Interesting question anyway, but
see, two things.
Okay.
Two things. There's no way Kennedy is going to say, I want to be aligned Chairman Tim in this race. The usual, let me align to go, so it will be my time. You're what kind of solution?
Yeah.
We have seen this happen because this could have been Alan Chairman Tim's easiest way to becoming the president of the nation. I mean, depending on what happens when he wins the primaries, because if Bawumia had said, you have done it for someone else, so let me do it for you, let me step aside for you to go, we wouldn't have been here, right? So whatever it is, Kennedy is not going to say the same thing. He's ready to get this lead. So
fight to the last
if there's a
bullet.
runoff, we're going to go back again to the same process.
Yeah.
Right. Another thing that may happen is maybe they might just sit back and say, you know what, why can't we just make one president and one the vice? So if we're able to sit back in our rooms and settle this amicably and say there have been issues, we can clear all those issues and say, you know what, you are an ultimate vice president if Bawumia is given the chance to go there, so we don't have to spend money on runoffs. Then it means that we are settling our differences.
Is this a case whereby you have had one particular candidate campaign heavily against the other, speak negatively against the other?
No, Rose, but those are things in politics.
No, I get you. It happens in politics, but a case whereby this person has said so much about how, you know, they've been corrupt, they've approached him with $800 million US, and all of a sudden you come to him and tell, how will he believe you that you make him a vice presidential candidate? Because it's a case, he said it openly that you can't trust ABC, the persons. They did it to Honorable Alan Kojechemartin. There was a time where he was told that you are the next in line. Give us the opportunity. He gave the opportunity. What happened? He never got to be the next in line.
There's a reason Kennedy might never have to agree on that. You know,
he might not. Because if you take Kennedy to a room, this is a businessman. He will know that, okay, you want me to give it to you. Then later I come and tell you, you give it to me. Then what happens to me? I've already lost, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Rose, politicians always have a way of solving their
yes.
Oh yes, that's true. That's true.
It doesn't matter what anybody has said on any platforms or what. You saw them yesterday when they met. There are people who are still fighting in some village or somewhere else, and these men were together, all smiling and pretending nothing has happened in the past. You understand? They always have a way of solving their internal issues, and I would not be surprised if the head of the party or whoever that's in charge is able to convince this man, if there's a run of that, you know what, let's not waste time on this. Whatever it is, we give our way. Well, it won't be a big problem saying that become the vice president. They know what Kennedy brings to the table.
Let's see what
so it won't be a big deal for them.
But I know it won't be a big deal, but the only thing is that how many other people have you promised to make a vice president?
We have a lot. I can count like 5.
There's always a way of settling on something, bro.
But in this case, the question will be, what are you bringing to the table?
Exactly.
Yes.
And how far have you come? I mean, politicians are very smart. There are people who contest elections and they know they can never be first, but they know once they are second or third, they have a bigger bargaining power. And they can call for whatever they want. And making Kennedy Agyapong, a vice president is going to be a big deal, and a good opportunity, in fact. Because right now, not to play any tribal card, but if Bawumia is elected, he's from the north. You probably will need somebody from the Akan regions or from the south. And you look at some delegates and even Ghanaians saying that, 2024, I'll only vote for NPP when there is Kennedy Agyapong. You hear people say that. And also people say that Bawumia is our best candidate, we'll vote for him. So imagine joining these two together. And finding ways and means to smoothen the rough edges, bringing them together to form a very good team, to come up against John Dramani Mahama and whoever he may choose to be his vice president. It is going to be an interesting 2024 elections.
And no two ways about it. These people know what Kennedy brings to the table. They know.
Well, I get you and everything, but for some reason, people out there who have spoken have said time and again that in the face of everybody there's unity. But when you go deep down,
of course there's a
lot of cracks in there. Will he accept to become a running mate? It's something else. They can lay it on the table that we want you to do it. But will he accept to be under Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? How many times has he said on different platforms about how they sacrifice for the party, how they feel they should take it back, how he feels he shouldn't go into the man who is from the north, but for the Akans, how he feels it should be taken back by the Akans. Now this person now has to serve under somebody that he feels is from a different tribe and should be should not be the flag bearer of the party. It's another thing. But when they meet in the room, that's to decide.
It will be to his own advantage, if you ask me.
That's what
because Kennedy would have to wait for how many years again?
And he's more than 60 what? He's 60. He's aging, right?
Yeah, he's
exactly.
aging.
That would be to his own advantage because how many years would you have to wait to be? And secondly, we have seen vice presidents who have come into power and have worked more than the president.
Of course.
No,
and when you are a vice president, the probability of you becoming a president is also high.
Exactly.
Well, okay, so we go into the undecisive people. If they should have all voted massively for Kennedy Agyapong, let's roughly say most of them are for the Alan faction, and because of this, they say to themselves that okay, we are going to vote for Kennedy. What's going to happen?
That's a straightforward 50% plus one for Kennedy. Because we are looking at 23.5, the other side is 32.5. If you add the two, more than 50%, right? So when they all decide to say, let's join, for him. Yeah, that would be a very big and straight win for Kennedy Agyapong. But it will be difficult to have all
of them
saying that let's toe the line of Kennedy Agyapong. Most of them are probably waiting to benefit from both sides and now decide where they'll be.
Exactly. So more money will come.
We only need a miracle.
One of the delegates spoke on PM Express and Evans asked him, are things going on? Oh yeah, of course, even in Umre. That was like a day or 2 days ago, and delegates
they are collecting the money.
Saying, oh yeah, things they go on. Yeah, they go on. So. And Samuel Uku has said that you can't go ahead to probably give TNT and assist or over 200,000 delegates. That's going to be difficult. It's in some million Ghana cedis. But in elections, it's not one person's money. It comes from different sources you put together to make a whole and share. And so delegates, they feel probably this is their cocoa season. But some of them also don't want us to create the impression that, this is their cocoa season because there will be a delegate who, throughout this process, the total amount of benefits that person will get if the person quantifying monetary terms is just around 500 cedis or 600 cedis. There are others who have more bargaining power, are going to make a fortune out of this opportunity from both sides. And so tomorrow, for me, it still looks very dicey for me. I don't see any clear paths
for any of them.
Although Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia definitely is in the lead. But in the lead with what sort of percentage? That's what I can't really compute or can't really, put a finger on and say this number. Because you are dealing with an opponent who is very, very ruthless. You are dealing with an opponent who, throughout his life, has been with the grassroots, helping people out there. And the people say they know him, although they know you as well. And if they know me and they know you, then it means that we are coming into a convergence where we can all share an equal part of the cake. Yeah. And that makes it very, very difficult. It's not as if one of them just came in. Kennedy Agyapong has been there. He's been there with the delegates, with the grassroots. Bawumia also say, hey, I am not the establishment candidate that you people have tagged me with. I am also a grassroots person. So please, tomorrow is a day for the grassroots. So grassroots from there. Tomorrow is your day. Make the best out of it.
Campaign message has changed within the last 24 hours. I'm now a grassroots person.
Oh yes.
Anyway, we continue with some of the messages. Good morning. The primaries will be very tense and interesting. The delegates are ready to make a change by voting an aspirant to lead the party, break the age. The NPP want to make a history. Kennedy is ready to give a showdown. Now the undecided delegates will make Kennedy the next flag bearer. Kennedy all the way, Kobe from Ibura Dumpa. It's quite interesting that the messages coming in are more for Kennedy than Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, isn't it?
Well, maybe the Bawumia camp they've decided
to lay low.
Oh yeah, they say, Charlie, tomorrow they will take it.
Okay, from Akesme Sekribekwai, when I hear NPP saying their flag bearer is a threat to NDC, I laugh to enter Sekribekwai market to buy Kobe. Hey. No NPP flag bearer poses any threat to NDC in a free and fair elections after this shambolic performance. When a party goes into primaries without open debate, then it's bogus. Therefore, Mani has already determined who becomes NPP flag bearer. Regards to all who works at St. Benedict Cooperative Credit Union Limited, especially the manager Samuel Ama inside Sesri Bekwai. All right, thank you so much, Akisme. Alhaji Hamza Pekifam, good morning, Rosalind. We should call a spade and stop beating around the bush. Plans are far away to skewed this election in favor of the establishment candidate in the name of Dr. Bawumia. So to me, Bawumia is winning and mark it on the wall. Kennedy is going to resign and join Alan for 2024 elections. Someone like me is praying hard for more confusion in the elections to the advantage of the NDC in 2024 elections. JDM all the way. Hey, see here. Somebody's prayer too. My name is Oima Sunyane. Dr. Bawumia has disappointed Ghanaians with his so-called economics, and we should blame Akufo-Addo for that because he's not a president, but we should praise him for his digitization and not Akufo-Addo. In fact, with Kennedy, we are going to vote massively for the NPP with Bawumia NDC all the way.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So that chorus is actually running through the minds of a lot of Ghanaians that, I mean, if there's Kennedy, we'll vote. If there's no Kennedy, we'll not vote.
Good morning. I mean, the belief that DMB will be the best in terms of unity by Ishaki from okay, I hope I got your name right. Good morning, family of Joy Prime. NPP has collapsed the country, and for that matter, they can let even ex-president Kufuor come, but they will still lose from Joe at Asin Central. Good morning, Madam and your team. We, the delegates of the great NPP, will be endorsing DMB. Maxwell watching you live from Mirugu Paga. Okay, Maxwell. Good morning, my wonderful people up here. I'm kindly appealing to all delegates to vote massively for Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. A vote for Dr. Bawumia is a vote for the current leadership of the NPP. Dr. Bawumia doesn't have anything substantial to offer Ghanaians. Kennedy, the grassroots man. Musa Jalil from Sakogu. Okay, good morning, Prime morning. I don't think your comparison about the president's performance in 2014 and that of the vice president's performance in the 26th Super Delegate Conference is flawed. Remember that in 2014, the number of aspirants was 7, while that of 26th August was 10 aspirants. Again, the vice president's performance in the Ashanti region is going to be a reflection of the 26th August. If the vice president could win against them in the Ashanti region in the 26th August, what is going to change? Kennedy Agyapong will never lead members of a party he insulted. Okay, Musa. It will be good. It will be a good omen for NDC if Bawumia wins. Patrick Accra. Wow. Okay, you have anything to say?
Yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow. And for me, I think that whatever happens, the bigger picture is what becomes of who wins in the general elections in 2024. That's the main important thing. And so, as for tomorrow, we're here. We just hope that it doesn't become the usual violent, things that we see in elections. And I'm talking about all elections, both NPP and NDC, because you see, really, it's not even about which party is violent. You do not have to put anybody's life in danger because people want to just come and express themselves. And so whether NPP or NDC, violence at any party's elections is totally unacceptable. And I want to believe that the Ghana Police Service will be there to do exactly what would bring peace, and every party that is involved in terms of what is happening tomorrow would also accept whatever comes in terms of counting, in terms of voting and all of that. Go there, vote, do whatever you have to do. Your delegates go and sit somewhere. Let's all wait till eventually when we get one person declared as the winner. And we do not need any violence in this time.
No, we don't. All right. So thank you so much for being here, Kofi. We are super grateful. Tomorrow, you'll be working hard. Yeah. Will you be on the ground or you'll be giving us more projections?
So, yeah, tomorrow we'll be, in the studio, manning the dashboards, monitoring the results that will come in, working on some projections for the team to present and all of those things.
Do you think we'll see any surprises tomorrow?
Depending on where the surprise, what you mean by surprise and where you think it will come from, but definitely, there's probably going to be a region that will vote in a certain way that we probably didn't think. There's probably going to be a candidate who will get a certain number of votes in a place that we think would have had better. So tomorrow will come with its own dynamics. I mean, Musa doesn't want us to talk about the 2014 super delegate, but he should ask himself, if there were 7, the rest of the rest of the candidates who could not make it, if you tally their percentage that they got, did it make any difference? So it was clear that President Akufo-Addo performed better. Probably not because of the number of people on the ballot, but because he has been there for long. He started contesting Kufuor 1996, I guess, 2000, 2003, 2007 he was there. So it was not because of the number of people on the ballots. I mean, it's because he was there and he had become more popular. That's why he had that 80%. So tomorrow is going to be an interesting day, and we'll see a lot of, clips going around, whether people are not agreeing with the showdown message or showdown messages going across and then people really resonating with it, or DMB probably is going to have a very good day tomorrow. Any of the candidates, let me not say any of the candidates, but the 2 top runners, it's clear, I mean, at this point that it's statistically impossible for us to have, let's say, 3 people all having around, let's say, 30%. It will be very, very difficult.
Okay, Isaac.
It should be an interesting.
Isaac Afriyie, data analyst. Definitely tomorrow he'll give us more insights when the results are coming in. So you ought to stay glued to your television set, because we'll bring you up-to-date information when the elections are going on. My name is Roslyn Felly. You've been watching News Flash segment. You know I didn't do this alone. I did this with the man, K to the M to the J.
Yep.